What happens if we don't use our hand gestures at all in a conversation, in a pitch, whatever, you know?
Two things. One is it's harder for you to process. They've literally found
the person speaking, it's harder to process.
It's going to be harder for you to get your confidence because gestures are a way that we underline or highlight our words. And so if you are inhibiting your own gestures, you will have a hard time explaining things. They actually did a study where they had people explain two versions of a story. Notice two versions of the story. One, they could use their hands and one they couldn't. The one where they could use their hands, they had less pauses, they spoke more quickly, they used bigger words.
Wow.
And the one where they just couldn't, just their hands were just underneath their legs.
You know what's interesting? I was just reading some intros for the podcast right before you came in. And I had another interview this morning and I did podcast intros and ads. And I use my hands in order to do it because I feel like it's coming across as like I'm really engaging.
Yes, yes.
And I remember when I was reading my first audiobook, The School of Greatness, I tried to read it like just kind of like with my hands down for a while. And I was like, I can't read. Like, I've forgotten how to read my own words. Being like dyslexic growing up anyways, I'm a little slower when I read in general. But when I started to be like, okay, I just need to get in this with my body, my hands, I felt more confident. I felt like I could flow. I wasn't messing up as much. I wasn't having to stop and restart as much. It was powerful.
Okay, that's an incredible story about gesture because if you watch the best like cartoon voiceover folks, they are using
animated, right?
Yes, they are using their whole bodies.
They're in a room by themselves, like recording on a mic, right? But they're like, la!
Yeah. We just did the same thing. Yes, that's what they're doing. That's not how I read my audio. But like Susan Goldwyn Meadows' research is called hearing gesture. And that is because I'm using my hands right now, not only for people watching, but also for my folks who are listening. Because I know that the more I use my gestures, the more charisma I have vocally, and I would love to talk about vocal charisma.
Interesting.
So that helps me, but it also helps you. So anyone who's watching, you're getting so much information. They say 12.5 times more information from our gestures.
Come on.
Yes.
Even when you can't see it?
No, you have to be able to see it. So we can hear charisma, but if someone can see our gestures, it adds more weight to what I'm saying. So when I say weight, I'm like, it's heavy. Look how heavy that is, right? But if I were to be like, heavy, it's so heavy. And I kind of shoo it away. You're like, no, it's not heavy.
You can feel the emphasis of the words.
Yes, so it's like a highlighter. Now, I have to have a caveat here because I've created a problem in the past.
Yes.
I love a gesture, but I don't like jazz hands, right? So gestures are great.
Hey, good to see you.
Hey, Louis.
So you're like, this is not credible or trustworthy. You're like, this is some weirdo over here.
I created a problem where I had people who were like entering their Zoom meetings and they were like, hello, Vanessa. And I was like, oh no.
Don't do that.
Oh no. So it's like a highlighter, right? You wouldn't want to highlight the whole page. You just want to highlight the concepts that matter. So
let's go back to hands for a second because you said there were 400 videos, I think you guys researched on Shark Tank.
495 pitches.
And one of the main factors was waving as you were walking in or as you were getting
planting.
Planting.
Yes.
Not all the way back, like
Could
waving.
Be. Some of them did.
But also once you sat there and said, hey
morning.
Sharks.
Yes. Hey, Sharks, good morning. Happy to be here. Even this, happy to be here, like an open palm gesture.
Interesting. Okay, what are a few other things that you noticed?
Okay, yes. Okay, so we love gestures. And by the way, this is super easy on a video call, in person. Hey, nice to see you. Good morning. The biggest mistake we make, someone walks in and we go, hey, we give them a nod. Right? Give them a hand. You like them enough to give them a hand, right? So that's really easy. It's like every YouTube video, I'm like, hey, friends. That's literally how I start every video. Okay, that's the first thing. So the second thing is where things get more interesting. So remember that these sharks were in pitch after pitch after pitch.
They're tired. They're like
so tired. They are so tired.
I've been on set there. I've seen like the whole day. It's just like, it's a lot.
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
Okay. So the most successful pitches, the next thing we found, this was very, very clear, is that the more that the pitchers could spark dopamine, the more likely they were to get a deal. Now, dopamine is a very complicated chemical. So just for our purposes.
Food, eating something. No, giving them like, try my.
Oh, yes. I was like, food,
and
yes.
If they're eating, like taste testing,
exactly.
like opening
try
something.
Try it, taste it, smell it, lick it, touch it, feel it, wear it, play it. Any of those senses, we love. So when we are doing something that's different, that's tactile, so touch, smell, taste, wear, play, do, try, that was gonna wake the sharks up. Dopamine is it's a very complicated chemical, but I wanna talk about it a little differently. It does feel good, right? So if they were to say to the sharks, today I have a gift for you, The brain goes, ooh, a gift, a gift, a gift, a gift.
Oh, give me
right?
something.
Gift. Right? Dopamine is like that feeling of I want it, I want it, I want it. It's a excitement, but it's also motivation. So what they've found is that when people have a lot of dopamine, they are more motivated to do things. They are more motivated to figure out a deal. They are more motivated to ask questions. So when a pitcher went in and not only had some kind of interactivity, some kind of a surprise for them, and sometimes it was a surprise. And they would literally say, and guess what, sharks?
Like,
what? Right? You're like, what is it? We want to know what that is because we're like, dopamine. So it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to walk in every meeting and hand out and like throw out Snickers bars.
Right.
Love a Snickers bar, and that will work really well. That will work. It will work every time. But it's also verbal surprise. So it's also saying, today I have something really special to share. Right?
Anticipation.
It doesn't even have to be something major. It can be throwing in those little elements of surprise that people can look forward to. And here's the biggest one. So this is research that blew my mind. It changed the way that I write emails. So if you write a lot of emails, this study is for you. So I'm going to break it down. It's kind of a complicated study. So here's what they did. So researchers had participants come into their lab and do like a little quiz, like a little math test. One group of participants read a set of directions that was very simple. Please take the following quiz, take your time, use a pencil, tell us when you're done. Very simple set of directions. The other participants got the same set of directions, but they sprinkled in a couple of achievement-oriented words. So achievement-oriented words are words like win, succeed, master, greatness. Okay, those are achievement-oriented words. There's a reason why this is so powerful. In the directions, they would say something like, please master all these questions, take as much time as you can to win the right answer, right? So they just sprinkled in a couple of these words, 2 or 3 of these words. They found that participants who had the achievement-oriented words performed better. They actually got more answers correct.
Interesting.
Now, this is incredible. If you're a manager or a boss or you're working with people and you want them to perform at their best, just a couple of word swaps can help set them up for success. The second thing they found is that it also doubled participants' desire to keep working. Now,
if they could win, succeed, achieve,
they were like, they worked on it longer, they worked on it harder, and they enjoyed it more. And the last one is that reading achievement-oriented words can change our own dopamine and testosterone.
That's fascinating. It's interesting because for years in high school and college, there was this store called Successions, I think it was called. I don't know if you remember this. It was like a motivational, inspirational store that had like, I don't know, a poster of like an eagle soaring with a quote, right? Or like
sounds like my office.
Like something was just like, it was like Ted Lasso, store. It was just like believe in yourself with like this motivational.
Where is this store? I want it. Okay.
I think it's called Successions. I can't remember the name of it. I don't even know if it's around anymore. But my dad bought me a lot of stuff, and I had all this sports type of inspirational quotes and Rocky posters and all these things of just people achieving. And I would stare in these walls, and I'd just be like, I want to be that. Let me go take the actions every morning to work a little bit harder to reach the goals. And I was just consumed in a success, word.
You were literally priming yourself with those cues. Another study, I promise I won't do too many more, they put a picture of an athlete winning a race on top of telemarketers' scripts. The people who had the picture of the athlete winning earned more money.
Come on.
Yes.
Like just in front of them? You're like...
Literally a printed picture on their script.
Oh, wow.
So why I share this is because we do not realize that we are cueing people incorrectly, or we are missing opportunities in every single email that we send. So if you send an email out to your team on Monday morning, hey everyone, today is going to be a busy day. We have a lot of challenges. Let's make sure we're not late. Research has found that when people read words like busy, challenge, or late, it literally primes them to be busier and later and more challenged. You are literally making it harder for them to help you. So if instead you think about, and this is a challenge, I would love to, if you're brave enough to take it, open up your email sent folder and pull up 5 emails that you've sent to important people. Boss, partner, colleague, whatever, client. I want you to print those emails, and I want you to count the number of priming words you use.
Good or bad. Yeah.
And even more, are they warm or are they competent? So this is where the next level happens.
Ooh, give it to me.
Highly charismatic people prime others with warmth and competence.
This is what I was going to say is one of the spark dopamine. A simple compliment or acknowledgement sparks dopamine from my experience. Just by seeing someone and acknowledging something you appreciate about them or you like about them or great shoes or whatever it is, I'm going to sure you've got a great smile today, you've got good energy today. That sparks dopamine, right?
Oh, 100%. Actually, this leads me to my next third point, my Shark Tank point. We also noticed that when pitchers specifically acknowledge things from the sharks, and specific sharks, they were more likely to get a deal from that shark.
I really like this thing about you. You did something
Lori,
amazing.
I've been so looking forward to working with you. Robert, I love all your deals with all those athletes. Yeah. Mark, I've been a huge fan of yours for years. Or this was the winning phrase. In a pitch, if we heard this phrase, it was a high likelihood that someone was going to get a deal, which is, you remind me of myself. That could have been one of the sharks, that could have been one of the entrepreneurs, but the biggest compliment we can give someone is, you remind me of me, you're my role model. I put you in. So this is what we're talking about as kind of the next level here is I think that, yes, I want you to be your most charismatic self. I want everyone, hopefully, who's listening to be inspired to be their warmest, most competent self. But what a bigger gift, what a better way to be great, to gift other people to be their warmest and most competent self. So that when you're sending an email and you say, hey, I'm introing Sarah, or we have Sarah on the call, or here's that quick email intro I promised to Sarah. No priming words. What if instead you thought, what's the warmest and most competent thing about both Sarah and the person I'm introducing to? And you say, hey, I'd love you to meet Sarah. She's been leading our marketing team for 10 years. We are so lucky to have her. She's a gem. Lucky, gem, leader. That is the perfect balance of warmth and competence. And you are gifting that to both Sarah, the person you're introing to, and yourself. And so I think our words are gifts. And this doesn't have to be every email. But in your most important emails, that audit that you send, count how many warm words are you using. So warm words are words that trigger connection, trust, words that make you feel the warm and fuzzies. They're very oxytocin words. Count the number of competent words: efficient, productive, brainstorm, leverage, lead, streamline. Those are all great competence words. A funny note here is emojis.
Are they good or bad?
Highly warm.
Right.
Not good or bad.
Likability. You can have likability, high likability, connection.
Right. Yeah. High warmth, right? So emojis and exclamation points count as one warm word. Wow. So if you have someone, and this happens a lot, where people send a highly warm email to an important person. Hi, friend. Friend, warm word. Exclamation point, 2 warm words. I loved talking to you yesterday, 3 warm words. It was so exciting to catch up. Exciting, catch up, 5 warm words. Heart emoji, heart smiley face.
Right.
Now we're at 7 warm words and we're 1 sentence in, right?
Yeah.
They wonder why they're not taken seriously. They wonder why they didn't get a follow-up interview. They wonder why that person takes 4 days to reply. It's because it's too much warmth. You have to balance it out with the competence. So I want you to count and see what kind of signals are you sending to the people who matter to you.
That's interesting.
Do you want to?
You know, you're bringing up something I used to do years ago when no one knew who I was. I was just getting started 2007, 2008. Oh, yeah. I used LinkedIn as a tool to create connection with people that were, successful business leaders and people that had done things that I wanted to do in the future, right? And for a while, none of them would reply to me because I started off saying like, hey, I'm just getting started, I'm brand new, and I'm looking for some advice. Can you help me? Those types of
warm
languages,
warm.
Right? Yeah.
All those words you just said are all warm.
Yeah, and I started switching it and getting a reply almost every time from anyone. Like anyone I'd reach out to, I was like, they're gonna reply to this. And I started doing a few things. In the first sentence, I would just try to find, spark dopamine, essentially is what I was doing. I was looking for a mutual connection we had, and I would speak about the mutual connection.
Mutual connection is highly competent. It's saying, you know this person, I know them too, I'm in the know. Trust and warmth.
Trust, yeah.
Warmth and competence.
This person likes me, if you like them, trust.
Perfect balance, yeah.
I didn't even know that, and I was just doing it, right? And it was working. I was like, okay, let me keep doing this. Let me find someone that we know in common. And I would always try to have a conversation to get some intel on them. Can you tell me something about so-and-so? And I would speak about that information. And I would speak into them. I would also look for a couple other areas of interest that we have in common. And I would try to have 3 different things in common in the first sentence or 2.
Wow.
something that they did that I'd experienced before, or a place they're from, or whatever, some mutual interest.
Warmth and competence.
Maybe that's competence, or it's both.
Both.
You're saying, yeah.
It's beautifully both. Yeah.
So I would do that, and then I would just add, and then I would say something like, "I'm really inspired by what you created. I'd love to learn your story of success."
Ooh, wait. Say it again.
I'm really inspired by what you've created. I'd love to learn your story of success.
Oh man, that just gave me the chills.
That's essentially what I did almost every email.
That sentence, can we just talk about it? So
Sure.
that sentence is the perfect blend of warmth and competence.
There you go.
Right? You have love, you have learn, you have success. And so that didn't take a lot of words. It's not like you were writing them a 6-paragraph email. But it's so much better than, let me know if you have any questions.
Right. Yeah.
Or can I pick your brain for coffee?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think what we have to do is there are hidden opportunities waiting for you in your texts, in your emails, in your profiles, if you choose to take them.
Yeah.
And all it takes is a couple of word swaps. Like, I'm not talking about
that's it.
15, in that direction sheet, they sprinkled in like 2 or 3 words. Win. Even reading the word win makes the other person think more like a winner.
Yeah.
What a gift to give.
That's cool. The quote that I heard in high school from Roosevelt is, "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." Saved my life, literally.
That's warmth and competence right there.
Because I didn't feel competent my entire school life, right? In school, I was at the bottom of my class. I just graded poorly, which confirmed like I'm not smart enough, or like I'll never be able to be as intelligent as my classmates or anyone in the world.
Yeah.
So why would anyone like me or trust me, because I didn't feel competent? Then when I heard that quote, I go, I have a chance. Like, I can build competence in another area of life. I can be emotionally intelligent, and I can show people how much I care. And by doing that, that's been pretty much my whole life.
Everyone who's listening, I hope what this shows you is that caring about someone, there's multiple ways to do that. Yes, it's emotionally intelligent, but it's also honoring someone's cues or gifting them the right cues.
Yes.
When you make someone feel more like a winner, what a gift you just gave them.
Huge gift. You're putting confidence into them. You're speaking joy, confidence into that person.
Yes, you're literally gifting them the chemical dopamine so that they themselves have more motivation.
Yes.
And don't we all need more motivation?
Absolutely, yeah.
Since you shared a vulnerability, can I share a vulnerability and a compliment?
Sure.
Okay. So I've been so excited to tell you this. So your book, School of Greatness, I love the cover. I just thought it was so inspiring. And when I was taking my cover shoot for Captivate, so this is 6 years ago now, it was not going well. I was super awkward. My photographer, amazing, Maggie Kirkland, was like, listen, like, this isn't working. You're really awkward. I need you to relax. I'm like, I can't relax, right? The worst thing you can do to someone who's anxious is tell them to relax. So we weren't getting the shot. We weren't getting the pictures. And she's like, okay, just think about your role models. Who's your role model? And I was like, Lewis Howes. So she pulls up your book and she goes, okay. And she said, look at Lewis. Channel him. And so in the shoot, I channeled you, and I did your pose of my hands over my stomach with your face. And crazily enough, that is the Captivate cover.
That was a shot.
I'm going to send you the full version.
How many books you sell? How many copies you get?
A lot. I better send you some royalties. So anyway, I channeled you because that cue, there was something about it. So I thank you for even the cues that you send out, because that gifted me confidence when you didn't even know about it.
There you go. I appreciate it. I'm glad it worked.
If you're in a business meeting and you suddenly feel like, am I disliked? He doesn't like this. She doesn't like this. When we see a cue of social rejection, our field of vision increases.
We see wider.
We literally see wider. Our pupils dilate, so we see more. The reason why that study was like a light bulb for me was